What do you do if you're an occupational therapist and your client asks you a question and you have no idea what the answer is? This situation can come up quite commonly for OT students and new grads, and while there may not be a definitive right answer that will work in every situation, there's definitely better ways that you can handle the situation. I'm going to show you some examples in this video, but first, just think about what outcome are we trying to achieve from this situation. Here's some of my thoughts. Number one, you want to make sure that the client doesn't lose complete faith in your ability to help them. And number two, you want to make sure that your client gets the correct answer to their question. Let's have a look at some examples and think about whether they maybe achieve those outcomes. Let's start with maybe what not to do. Your client just asked you this question: how long until you can get me a new wheelchair through my funding package? Oh, Mrs. Smith, I'm just a new grad. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I can't answer that question for you. How do you think we'd go achieving those two outcomes I mentioned before? Well, I don't think that the client's really going to have faith in your ability to help them if that's the response you give them. And number two, you haven't answered their question either. Let's try a different response and see how you think they go with the outcomes this time. How long until you can get me a new wheelchair through my funding package? Oh, well, you know what? Oh, I think it shouldn't be that hard. We could just go to the showroom. You can pick out one that you like. I'll probably spend an hour or so writing a report. It's obvious that you need one, so I'll just send that in, and surely like a week or so, I reckon we could get you one. No problems at all. What sort of outcomes do you think we'll get now? Well, obviously the client's probably going to have lots of faith in your ability to help them. But number two, have you given them the correct answer to their question? Unless you've got some magic system to access funding through NDIS or My Aged Care in a really quick way, chances are you're probably way off the mark. And when the client finds out the true answer, they're probably then going to lose complete faith in your ability to help them. Let's have one more go at the scenario and see if this maybe achieves those two outcomes. How long until you can get me a new wheelchair through my funding package? Oh, Mrs. Smith, let me think for a second. You know what? There's just so many different factors that could influence how long these things take. And I really don't want to give you the wrong information and get your hopes up. Is it okay if you leave it with me just to check a few things, and I'll try and get the best, most accurate answer that I can, and I'll get back to you by the end of this week with an answer. Does that sound okay? How do we go with those two outcomes this time? Hopefully the client still has faith in your ability to help them, because you said you're going to do it. And because you've then given yourself a bit more time to maybe go speak to a supervisor, check with some suppliers, do your own digging around, you're hopefully going to give them a more accurate response. So you'll achieve both outcomes. Hopefully that gave you some ideas for how you might handle those situations. It is very difficult when you're put on the spot though, so there are some things that you can do to try and practice and prepare yourself for situations like that. I'll have to share those tips in another video one day though, so if you'd like to find out more, keep following your OT Tutor and I'll share more tips with you like this another day. Thanks for watching.